Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Codergirl.py. My name is Serenity, aka Codergirl. This is my friend Scooter, and today I'm going to show you some of the games I've made using Python. Hope you enjoy! So this episode is going to be a little bit different than my previous ones. So far, I've been introducing you to simple parts of Python programming: printing, variables, arrays, if statements, and so forth. And with that knowledge, you should be able to make some simple games, and that's great. However, we're all human, and some of you might be feeling a little bit down or just a little bit disappointed that you're not progressing as fast as you thought you would. You want to learn how to program games and websites, but all you really know how to do now is store information and print it out to the terminal, which really isn't that cool. And it's totally fine if you feel like that. I get it. I felt like that too when I was first programming. I wanted to skip straight ahead to programming games and websites. But the truth is that learning to program games and complicated websites takes time and patience. Because of that, I thought it'd be cool to take a break from learning actual Python code and show you guys a taste of how practice and patience pays off by showing you guys some of the games I've made using Python. Okay, so in my IDE, I have one new folder called Games. In the Games folder, I have two other folders, Hangman and Tic-Tac-Toe. Let's open up Hangman first. In the Hangman folder, I have 5 files: easy.txt, hangman.py, hard.txt, medium.txt, and volcano.txt. Just a reminder that files ending in .txt are text files, meaning that they just include some text. Alright, so let's actually run hangman.py by clicking the run button up top. You'll see when I click the run button, it clears the screen and it says, "Welcome to the world of Hangman." To continue, press enter. It might be difficult for you to see, but these dashes up here are actually rainbow colored. So let's press enter. When we press enter, you'll see it takes us to a directory with 5 options. 1, restart. 2, one-player game. 3, two-player game. 4, credits. And 5, exit. We'll run through each of these options. So to start, let's hit 1 to restart the game. When I enter 1, you'll see it does restart the game. It takes us back and it says, "Welcome to the world of Hangman," just like it did when we initially started it. So let's go back to the directory by clicking enter, and let's try a short little one-player game. So by entering 2, we are selecting the one-player game. It takes us to one-player Hangman. It says the rules. I'm not going to say the actual rules right now, but if you want to pause it and take a look at the rules I have listed, that is perfectly fine. Then you'll see it has options. To leave the game, enter directory. When it is your turn to guess, you will be sent to the directory at the start of the game. Finally, it says press enter to start. Let's press enter. Now it says difficulty. You can choose from 4 difficulty modes. 1, easy. 2, medium. 3, hard. And 4, extremely difficult. Because I want to keep this as simple as possible, I'm just going to choose the difficulty easy by selecting 1. Then it asks, how many rounds would you like to play? Again, to keep it simple, I'll just enter 1. And now you can see it draws the hangman. It tells us how many guesses are left, which is 6. It shows us the blank spots for all of the letters. And finally, it says guess a letter. I'm going to guess the letter A. It says nice, that was in the word, and you can see we now, instead of having 3 blanks, we have blank, A, blank. So let me guess another word. I'm going to guess the letter D. that wasn't in the word. You can see now, instead of having 6 guesses left, we only have 5 guesses left. And we have a new Hangman piece, the head. So I'm going to guess C. It says nice, that was in the word, and instead of having blank A blank, it now draws the letter C on there. So we have C-A blank. I think I know what this word is. So I'm gonna guess the letter T. It says nice, that was in the word, and I was right. I guessed the word cat, and now it says cat. In green, it says we guessed the word, and then finally press enter to continue. That was pretty fun, right? Let me press enter continue. It's loading the directory, and you can see finally it takes us back to the directory. That was a 1-player Hangman game. So now let's try the 2-player game part of this. Let me enter 3 to go to the 2-player game. Like the 1-player game, it shows us the rules and the options. And then it says, please enter a username for player 1. So this will be the username for player 1. Right now, I'll just enter Serenity. Then it says, please enter a username for player 2. I'll enter Scooter. How many rounds would you like to play? Again, to keep it simple, I'm just going to enter 1. Finally, it says enter a word for Serenity to guess. This would be player 2 entering a word for player 1 to guess. I'll enter the word code. It says Serenity's turn, and again, it draws up the Hangman board, or the Hangman area with the guesses left, just like it did for the 1-player game. I'm gonna guess a letter. Since I know what the word is, I can just keep guessing the letters for code. C, O, D, and finally E. And again, it says we guessed the word, press enter to continue. Now it says enter a word for Scooter to guess. This would be player 1 entering a word for player 2 to guess. So I'll enter the word codeine. Now let me show you what happens when you get a word wrong. I'll guess all the incorrect letters, and then we'll just see what happens. So I'll guess Q, W, Z, X, V, and K. And you can see our guesses left are 0, and it's drawn all of the letters. Then it says no guesses left, a frowny face, and finally the word was coding, and all of this is in the color red. Let's press enter to continue. It's loading the directory, and it takes us back to the directory. Now let's enter 4 to see the credits. If I enter 4, you can see it says created by Serenity, created using Python, and it shows my YouTube. Finally, it says press enter to return to the directory. I'll press enter, returns us to the directory. Finally, I'll enter 5 to exit the game. And you can see it has thanks for playing. So that was my Hangman game. Pretty cool, right? I programmed this in 2 to 3 days. I know that might seem fast, but I've been programming for 3 years, and I've taken some online classes as well. I also know that this game, Hangman, might seem very daunting to program, but once you have some experience in Python, it shouldn't be too difficult. A lot of the code isn't actually the game itself, but the visuals, the directory, the welcome page, drawing the Hangman, all of that is just the visuals. So let me show you the actual code inside the Hangman file. I know this code might seem technical and cryptic, but you should actually recognize parts of the code. As I scroll through here, you'll see arrays, variables, and a lot of print statements. You'll also see some if statements. So the code inside isn't actually too difficult. The sheer amount of code might make it look daunting, but I'm using a lot of basic code. Again, variables, print statements, if statements, and arrays. Alright, so let me exit out of Hangman.py and open up the Tic-Tac-Toe folder. In it, I just have one file, Tic-Tac-Toe.py. Let's run it. When I run it, you can see it says, welcome to Tic-Tac-Toe. Press enter to begin. So I will press enter. Then it draws up the Tic-Tac-Toe board. It tells us it is O's turn, so that'd be player 1's turn. And finally, it says enter the coordinates for your move, separating the numbers by a comma, x, comma, y. You can see with the board, it has the coordinates listed. It has the x coordinates, 1, 2, and 3, and the y coordinates, 1, 2, and 3. So let's say player 1, or O, wants to go in the middle. That would be at the coordinates 2, comma, 2. So I'll enter 2, comma, 2. And you'll see it draws O in the middle of the board. Then, because player 1, or O, moved, it is now player 2, or X's turn. And again, it says enter the coordinates for your move. So let's say X wants to go in the top right corner. That'll be at the coordinates 3, comma, 1. I'll enter 3, comma, 1, and you see X is now in the top right corner. Perfect. Again, it is player 1's turn. Let's say player 1 wants to go in the top left corner. That will be at the coordinates 1, comma, 1. So I'll enter that. O is now at the top left corner. X, let's say player 2, or X, wants to go in the middle row at the bottom. That will be at the coordinates 2, comma, 3. I'll enter 2, comma, 3, and you can see it draws X. Now, again, it'll be player 1's turn. Player 1 is going to go at the bottom right, 3, comma, 3. And you can see, because we have 3 O's in a row, in the top left, in the middle, and the bottom right, O has now won, and it prints out O wins. So this game was a bit easier, right? This took me about 1 day to program. Again, that's because I've been programming for almost 3 years. So now let's open up the tic-tac-toe file. Just like Hangman.py, as I scroll through this file, you'll probably recognize some variables, arrays, if statements, and print statements. And just like Hangman.py, I'm using simpler pieces of code to make a more complicated program. So why am I showing you guys these small little games? The point of me showing these to you is to show you guys that even though variables, print statements, if statements, and arrays might seem small and insignificant, they're actually very important building blocks to more complicated programs. By learning the fundamentals of coding, you've already taken those first few steps towards creating complicated programs of your own. The important thing is to remember that coding games and programs, websites, and so on takes patience and practice. But you'll get there soon enough. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. This is Codergirl.py signing out.